Hey everybody, this is Andrew Dow here, wanting to do our first Bible reading check-in. Uh, we just tried to do a live video, Mike and I, and unfortunately, our technology did not cooperate. That did not go very well, and Mike had to go somewhere, and so this is just me. You will not be able to see Mike's and my excellent conversation about our first Bible reading, and so if you tried to watch that, apologize for the audio quality, the video quality. We're going to try to work out some of those kinks and move forward. But what we're doing here is we're trying to encourage our congregation at the Woodland Hills Church of Christ in Conroe, Texas, to read the Bible this year in 2026. And we have sort of a pretty steep challenge that we're issuing, which is to read the Bible twice in 2026. And hopefully you've seen some of our videos about that, some of our posts about that. But if you're looking for a Bible reading plan for 2026, it's not too late to start one. In fact, we would love for you to read along with us. You can follow the QR code right there, and it'll take you to the reading plan. And so the game plan is to read the Bible in 6 months. And then if we do that successfully, to do it again in the next 6 months. And so what Mike and I are planning to do, if everything works out and our technology works okay, what we're trying to do is check in weekly, maybe through recorded videos, maybe through live videos. A lot of that may depend on our technology, if it's working given the week. But we want to check in and hold ourselves accountable to this reading, and also just encourage everyone out there who wants to read with us to keep up and to keep reading and to keep working towards this as our goal. And so this is, according to the reading plan that we're doing, January 4th is the first day of this reading plan. And so if you haven't started a Bible reading plan or you want to start one, no better time to start than this evening. And so I just want to talk a little bit about that with you, give you a few ideas that might be helpful to you to encourage you towards that end. Let me say just a word real quick about why we would want to read the Bible through twice in 2026. That seems awful fast. That's kind of an ambitious plan. But I think there's good reason for it. At least in my own personal life, I've found that it's helpful to me when I read the Bible through at a faster pace. There's nothing wrong with reading it through in a year. Nothing wrong with a slower pace. We're very pro reading the Bible, however fast or slow you want to read it. But one of the reasons I'm challenging us to speed up the pace of our reading is just because I've personally found that to be beneficial in my own study and my own reading. But if we're going to do this, you have to understand something about this style of Bible reading. This is not designed for in-depth Bible study. It's not going to be the kind of thing where you can pause and go chase, ideas and questions that you have down rabbit holes. You're going to have to dig your heels in and just read. In fact, that's going to be something you'll probably hear me say a lot. Just read the text. It might get hard. There's going to be a lot of text at times, more than you're used to perhaps. Just read. Don't stop. Don't ask questions, or maybe the better way to say that is don't try to hunt down answers to every question that you ask, every question that you have. But now's the time just to acquaint yourself with the biblical text. And that's the goal of this reading plan, is just to get familiar with the story of the Bible, the rhythm of the Bible, the kinds of things the Bible says and the kinds of way it says those things. Yes, there will be time, I hope, for more in-depth study. I hope that you're a part of those in your church, in your own home, with your family, privately, by yourself. There's going to be time for more in-depth study. But this kind of reading plan, reading through quickly, this kind of reading plan is going to give you a foundation. It's going to give you all the nuts and bolts, all the material that you need, so that when you go do in-depth Bible study, you're better prepared to make connections. You're better prepared to understand sort of the overall big picture view of the Bible and how that fits in to all of that. So that's why I'm challenging us to read faster. And I hope that you will be ambitious with me and take this challenge on and start tonight. Even with the faster pace, I think what you'll find is Most all of these readings can be done if you sit down, give yourself 30 minutes to an hour, sit down and just read the Bible in the evening. Read it with your family. Read it by yourself. Have it read to you. By the way, that's one big tip I'd give you, is if you want to do this and you're not sure that you can spend that kind of time just focused on reading, if you get distracted easily, or if you are a multitasker, whatever the case may be, there's so many opportunities to listen to the Bible read. Bible apps like YouVersion, I have YouVersion on my phone and on my tablet. The YouVersion apps have great audio where you can just play it, pick the chapter you want it to read and play it, and it'll read to you the Bible. YouTube videos, there's podcasts, there's, I'm sure there's audiobooks out there in digital format. If that's your thing, take the chance to use those kinds of things. Don't feel like that's cheating in any way. We want to be in the text. We want to be in the Word, inundated with the Word. And so whatever you can do to accomplish that, do that. One other tip I'd say, just while I'm throwing tips out, one other tip is I keep saying don't stop reading. Don't stop reading. You are going to come across questions. That's normal. That's to be expected. That's good. You are going to run across things you just find interesting, or things you didn't notice before, or things that you might want to stop and think about. My challenge to you in this reading plan is this. If you find a question, if you find something that is interesting to you, or something that you don't want to forget, you want to come back to later, that's great. Keep a notebook nearby. Write it down. Write it down in your phone, your notes app in your phone real quick. But don't stop reading. Yes, pause and jot it down, but then go right back to reading. A couple of reasons for that. One, we don't want to lose where we're at in the Bible story. We don't want to slow down and break the story up. We want to read the whole story. Second, I think you'll be shocked how many times your questions are answered if you'll just push through and keep reading. Not always, but I think you'll find that a lot of times those questions are answered. And so I want to encourage you, jot your questions down, jot your observations down, but then get back in the text and keep reading. Okay, here's kind of the game plan. Here's what we're going to do. And hopefully this will be Mike and I together on these things moving forward. We'll be able to talk with one another. But our game plan is to make these weekly videos, hopefully every Sunday, and talk about the text that we read the previous week, just sort of share our observations about that. We'd love to hear your observations in the comments, see what you have to say. But then also we want to spend some time just briefly previewing the text to come. And if you're going to start this reading plan with us, we want to encourage you to do it. We're going to start reading Genesis this week. In fact, that's the goal. We'll start today, Sunday through Saturday. We will have read the whole book of Genesis. So that's the goal, is to read Genesis this week. A couple of things you're probably going to find as you read through Genesis is you're going to find a lot of stories that are really familiar to you. They're not going to be a ton of there's not going to be a lot of stories that you run across that you've never heard of before. I'm sure you'll find some, but more than other books, perhaps you'll be familiar with a lot of the stories in Genesis. You're going to get Adam and Eve. You're going to get Noah. You're going to get stories about Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and his 12 sons and Joseph and his multicolored coat and all those kinds of things. So there's going to be a lot in this story, in these stories in this first week of reading that you know and that you're familiar with. Now, that's good because it makes for good reading. It makes for easy reading. What I want to challenge you and encourage you to do is not to let that make you complacent in your reading. In other words, don't just go into autopilot and just say, I know these stories, I understand what's happening here, and just sort of gloss over it. But keep your ears open, your eyes open for things in the stories that maybe you haven't focused on before. Things that just strike you as, I didn't remember that was in there. Because there's going to be a lot of that in Genesis. Yes, we're used to oftentimes in Genesis, we're used to the children's story Bible version of the story. And those are great tools. But be on the lookout for those things that maybe we didn't teach our children, or things that you weren't taught as a child growing up. Those details, those interesting tidbits, those stories that maybe we don't always spend time in. And I just want to encourage you to focus on that as you read through Genesis this week. Focus on the things that you might not have thought you would find in the book of Genesis. I'm going to leave it there. I want to encourage you to read the Bible with us this year. Try to read it twice with us this year. But if it's too fast to pace, read what you can. Keep going. Even if you're not keeping up with our reading schedule, just keep reading something. Stay in the Word of God. Of course, we want to make our reading schedule available to you. We want to encourage you to follow along with us as we make every effort to read the Bible twice in 2026.